So, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yeah, that's it. In the seminar on energy, you should also exhibit that energy. If that is not visible, then the purpose is lost. So the energy should be visible. Welcome to this session. We have three eminent speakers. The focus is on coal gasification. So how does it provide us opportunity in the context of energy transition, and what kind of role it can play? I think this is the point of discussion that will be from all the eminent speakers here. To set the context, I have few slides I thought would be important. Can we show that, please? Yeah. So I think if you see macro things we've already discussed, we are one of the fastest growing economy, third largest energy consumer. Per capita consumption is very low, but it is fast growing. We see the kind of growth rates that we are seeing. When it comes to oil and gas, we are greatly dependent on imports, almost about 89% of oil and more than 50% of gas that we import. When it comes to renewable, I think this is driven by the fact that India is also third largest polluter in terms of emissions. So I think there's a focus that whatever energy we use, and energy sector is one of the major polluters. So I think from that point of view, we need to be conscious that whatever energy source we use should be cleaner. So this is renewable is given a lot of impetus on that, and we have an ambitious target of 450 gigawatts by 2030, and it looks pretty much on track.
Look, I will take this.
When it comes to coal, I think we are the fourth largest deposit that we have. We are endowed with large deposits. We are the second biggest consumer in the world. We produce about over 1 billion tons now. And we are also an importer. This is very surprising that, we also import about 230, 240 million tons of coal also, which is a worry. Why can't we really replace it by the domestic coal on that? Abundance of coal should be seen as an opportunity for India. How do we convert this challenge to an opportunity? That's the point of discussion, I think, in this thing. And we look for what kind of technologies can be used gainfully to use coal in a cleaner way. We all know this kind of thing that we almost about 58–60% fossil fuel based, which coal dominantly being in the mix there, and we have this trend, if you see worldwide, is changing fast. And we need to really keep track of the changing scenarios there. So if you see the coal reserves, we have a pretty large resources of coal here, proved, inferred, and indicated. If you see significant amount of resources that are there, and if you see depth-wise, then almost about 50+% of the coal is deeper than 300 meters. And the present technology, we will not be able to mine that. Very difficult. This coal is also little poorer in quality in terms of ash content and other parameters there. So could be a useful resource for gasification. So I think we need to really see how do you use this resource, which is deeper resource, gainfully. And that's why I was saying that we should look at underground coal gasification as one of the options for that. Now there are several studies worldwide done by a number of companies. Each company, ExxonMobil, BP, EIA, DNV, and all have done a lot of studies on the patterns of use of energy in the world. How the countries or continents are using energy in what way, what is their trend. how much they are using, what energy sources they are using, and they have divided, I've taken this from DNV, 10 segments, 10 different parts of the world use energy in a different way. When it comes to, of course, these are the three major points where the world is concerned, but when it comes to India, we are dominantly using fossil fuels there. And only in the two-wheeler and three-wheeler vehicular transport sector is one that we are having a very fastest growth in the world in terms of moving towards EV. And EV also is a debatable thing because it's a coal-fired EV. This is a trend. I think we all are aware of that even by 2050, coal demand would go down dramatically. And in this process, Europe perhaps is the leader, definitely, where they're coming out with restrictions. Although there are now changes that are happening in view of the recent developments, and some of the countries have become cautious whether they can really sustain this kind of a policies of avoiding coal, or they need to cautiously see and review their policies there. But certainly, trend is very clear. Low carbon fuels are gaining importance. And when it comes to investments also, investors are looking at on the emissions. And they are promoting those projects, investing in those projects which are cleaner in their emissions and also end use there. One of the trend is that energy is likely to be used more and more in the form of electricity. So the focus comes at how do you generate electricity? It has to be cleaner. So this trend, and India cannot remain isolated, We also see in household and all more use of, this is more efficient also, and therefore we need to really focus at how India can do that. There are many other parameters that are part of the energy transition change that is happening worldwide, and India also, we all know, we have also committed that we'll reduce our emissions. There's nationally determined commitments that the government has made. Few of them are very clear on that. One is on the power sector, also reducing the emissions, and various other parameters. So we are very clear about, in this context of reducing the emissions, but maintaining the development, maintaining the usage of energy, what all we can do, considering coal as a major indigenous resource available, an option available with us. Now, coal gasification internationally has been recognized as a much cleaner process. I think, so there are various studies which have proven that around 15 to 16, 17% less emissions when it comes to direct comparison to the direct burning of the coal actually. So therefore it's definitely important. There are various initiatives we have discussed in the last session also. Ministry of Coal had come out with a financial support to promote coal gasification, and they had come out in 3 categories of projects in which there was a sufficiently healthy competition, and they have awarded in the category 1, which is for PSU. The Coal India is leading, so they have formed a JV with Coal, with GAIL also, with BHEL also, and their own also, 3 projects on this thing. When it comes to private sector also, the Jindal Power and Steel is one of the winners. We have a Greta Energy, which is a new entrant. So there are a lot of interest from the companies which are not really into the coal area. They are also, you're recognizing this as an opportunity. And then New Era Clean Tech Solutions Private Limited, again a new initiative here. So it has definitely generated a lot of interest. And then the important part is that category 3, which is actually on R&D projects, that they have to demonstrate that gasification can achieve higher efficiency, plus that they could prove that the carbon dioxide emissions are controlled, captured under the CCUS policy successfully. So these are demonstration projects. All of them have got different financial assistance under the VGF scheme of the Government of India. So this is a wonderful initiative and a very definitive action by the government on that. This thing is sometimes, can you change from there please? Just to show you that there are several other projects also which are underway, different Coal India subsidiaries, as also private sector also, and we see that these projects are going to target some of the products which are required in India or are imported in India, so it's very important from that point of view. But so there are certain operating plants also in India. So it's not that the Indian companies are not really aware of that. I know of Jindal Steel and Power Limited. They have bought the Lurgi, which is one of the leaders in the technology. So we have now companies in India like BHEL has their technology. Jindal Power and Steel have their own technology, the Lurgi technology there. Reliance has developed technology for biomass gasification. So there are several developments that have taken place in the last couple of years. Why it is important? If you see the target products of the coal gasification, we have main 4 low carbon products. Hydrogen, no carbon. Methanol, ammonia, syngas. Methanol is emerging as the most desirable marine fuel in the world. And there are projections that it would grow some 8 to 10 folds in the next 5 to 10 years' time. Huge demand, cleaner fuel, and can be produced very, very economically. Ammonia, a precursor for ammonium nitrates and other fertilizers, as also explosives, syngas. These all can be further converted into much cleaner products like DME, olefins, petrochemicals, hydrogen, sustainable air fuel. Power, there are syngas-based power generation. It's of course a low calorific value, around 1500, 1800 kilocalories. But there are turbines which are now made in India which can run on that. So you can really run and generate power from that. And then under the CCUS, you can have several other opportunities there. It can be used for EOR, storage, chemicals, you can get carbonates, various other. So I think it makes sense to look at coal which is indigenously available. The challenge is that you have to have processes where you can control, reduce the carbon dioxide emissions. Decarbonization, to my mind, has become essential today. No process in the chemical industry would be sustainable if there is no decarbonization there. Just to tell you that in India, gasification is not a new thing. There are, if you see, over 300 gasifiers operating. There are, of course, a small and small, medium size, but over 300 gasifiers are operating, and some of them are, of course, now looking at upgrading, changing, and all. So there is a fair amount of experience available in that, and I think this is a sector which is going to grow. Underground coal gasification, I've talked about this. I think this is very important and need to really be pursued of that, and I'm happy that Ministry of Coal is now very, very open to our suggestion. I represent Coal Gassifiers Association, which has made several suggestions. Some of the benefits of the underground coal gasification, and they are looking at developing a kind of a new holistic policy for underground coal gasification. Just to sum up, way forward to my mind, we must exploit large reserves of low-rank Indian coals for appropriate gasification technologies suitable for Indian coals, targeting the products that are willing at. Enhance energy security, definitely it helps in that and a lot of chemicals that are imported can be really produced indigenously. We must develop and adopt viable carbon capture and use and storage technologies, and I think in the opinion of the Coal Gassifiers Association, we need to develop somewhere around minimum 75 million tons of CO2 capture facilities infrastructure. This is a minimum economic size that India should be looking at that. In our opinion, in the Gassifiers Association, it would attract a huge amount of investment from national and international companies, and it should be policy-driven. Investment, technology, transfer, commercial scale projects, this is very essential, and we need not really reinvent the wheel. There are technologies off the shelf available for that. Just on touch on this thing, all those companies which are keen to be part of this thing can be on this thing. So I thought I'll put these points there. The point that is to be driven is that coal in India, it's an advantage, it's an opportunity. Challenge is that how do we develop and use those technologies where we can capture the carbon dioxide and use carbon dioxide for several other products. So carbon is the thing which needs to be managed. It is the enemy, not the coal. And if you can manage carbon dioxide well, I think it's advantage. And there are several processes industrially available to use this. And I'm sure all of our eminent speakers would be now speaking and sharing their experiences with us on that.